So let's get to the important stuff, Matt. And of course, it's a coaching search that is at the top, along with LSU of college football. Jeff Fisher is being bantied about suddenly on social media. Not that he's not in the past been a prime candidate because of his obvious success in the NFL and ties to USC as a player. And then James Franklin, of course, who had a very odd news conference this week at Penn State with all sorts of misspoken terms, alluding to opponent being Illinois, not Ohio State. You would think pretty focused on Ohio State. You would think that's the one you circle on the calendar. And then, of course, referring to the shoe as the big house. Now, I can go with misspeaking from time to time, but it was like 3 times in one news conference. But more concrete evidence than that, Matt, is...
Yeah, that James Franklin's latching on to Jimmy Sexton as his new agent, switching representation and getting Jimmy Sexton. I mean, it guarantees that James Franklin's going to get paid. Like, that's what it guarantees. It doesn't guarantee that USC won't get him. It guarantees that James Franklin is seeking a lot of extra money, and that's what Jimmy Sexton delivers. So we can say that with certainty. He's going to get paid. He's going to leverage his situation one way or the other. But now, in terms of where he's going to land, I mean, I'd have to say that LSU is the favorite at this point. Doesn't mean done deal. It doesn't mean, extremely likely to happen, but just that LSU is the favorite. It's the front runner. That USC is behind LSU if both USC and LSU have James Franklin as their top target. Now, I don't know for a fact that USC has James Franklin as its top target, but Pac-12 insiders a week ago were saying that's where the buzz was pointing. That's where this was going. This was headed. That James Franklin, and USC, that was supposed to be the marriage being lined up. But now with Jimmy Sexton entering the picture, if USC, let's put it this way, bottom line, Mark, if USC and LSU are in a bidding war, LSU wins that bidding war. If it's just about dollars, LSU is going to be able to win a bidding war with USC. So if they both want Franklin, and LSU AD Scott Woodward, is on good terms with Sexton because he hired a Sexton client, Jimbo Fisher, when he was at the AD at Texas A&M. So, you have to give LSU the edge over USC right now for James Franklin, if that is the common target at the top of the board for those two schools. So now, what does this do for the rest of the USC search? So I think Luke Fickell, right now, subject to change, but Luke Fickell right now is probably the top most attainable candidate if you assume that Franklin is in the driver's seat for LSU. So Fickell first, and then Matt Campbell getting back on the board. He lost to Baylor, lost to Iowa. He needed a win akin to what he got this past weekend against Oklahoma State, knocking off the unbeaten Cowboys. So he's back firmly in the top tier, along with Fickell. So real changes at the top of the list for USC. Campbell getting back into the mix, and Franklin now being the leader at LSU, given the Jimmy Sexton news.
And to your point with Matt Campbell winning a substantial game, James Franklin hires Jimmy Sexton to get him some more bucks. But Jimmy Sexton's first bit of advice might be, don't lose to Illinois. That might be the best way we can get you a few more dollars and get you prime position for one of these two elite jobs.